How to use a cutting ruler. I have a small OFA self-healing mat, and I have a strip of fabric that I used recently in a project. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut off this selvage piece, which is this white piece, which is often printed on the edge. 1/2 by 12.5 Creative Grids ruler, which is a little large for this project, but that's okay. And I have my rotary cutter. I am going to line up one of the horizontal lines on my ruler with the top of this piece of fabric, and I am going to slice off that edge. So now we have a straight edge, which is the right side. It is about to become the left side when I rotate it. I am right-handed, and I always cut this way. If you are left-handed, you will want to start on the left-hand side instead. Here is my ruler again, and I'm going to mark by putting the edge, the 3-inch mark on my ruler next to that edge that I have just cut. I am about to cut it off, and I now have a 3-inch rectangle. That is how you use a ruler for rotary cutting. Let's look at a few different options in rotary cutting rulers. There are large rulers, 6 by 24. You would be using this size of ruler to cut down strips of fabric like this one from a large piece of fabric that you bought off the bolts. Other rulers to consider, you saw me use this one, which is half the size of that big ruler. I find this size very useful. So Creative Grids, 6.5 by 12.5. I find that size very useful. I use it all the time. Another ruler I use a lot is a 6-inch square. This is actually a 6.5-inch square. I use this all the time, and I could have used this ruler to subcut this fabric. I also have a bunch of these also. These are small Creative Grids squares. This one is 3.5-inch square. I also have the 2.5-inch square, the 4.5-inch square, the 6.5-inch square, and the 8.5-inch square. I find those very useful for cutting down strips that you've already cut. That is how you use a cutting ruler. A quilting ruler is a very different animal, and let me explain how they evolved and how they are used. I purchased a long arm machine in 2017, and yes, I know I am very blessed to have such a machine in my life. Around that time, it seemed that ruler quilting was starting to become a thing. This is also Creative Grids, my favorite ruler brand, folks. These were designed by Angela Walters, the great quilter of Quilting is My Therapy. And this is the squeaky ruler. You would use this to quilt around these shapes. Therefore, you're not doing free motion quilting on your long arm or your domestic machine. You're using a ruler and a ruler foot instead, creating a pretty consistent pattern, especially if you've done this for a while. I also have 2 others here I'm going to show you. This is slim. This is again an Angela Walters ruler. I love this ruler mostly for the straight edge, but it also has this gentle curve at the top, which you can use to create a little bit different. So you would curve off on the end there and come back. And this is Sid, which I haven't used a lot of, but this is a really unique ruler because you can do a couple things here. You can put your foot in the middle here and make this T shape. You can come across here and up here and down here and get this squiggly shape. This is a multi-purpose ruler. So I am a Bernina girl. This is my Bernina foot. You can see the cup here. The height on the side means that this runs beside the ruler. This is going to be hard to do, so bear with me, folks. This is how you make your shape. You're moving the machine against the ruler. And that is how you do ruler quilting. In case you're new here, I'm Linda Johnson. I am a Canadian quilter from nearby Toronto, Ontario, Canada. My mission is to help new quilters learn to quilt and to help intermediate quilters expand their quilting skill set. I want everybody to move on in their quilting journey. So that's a little bit about me. If you're interested, please sign up for my newsletter. The link is below the video. I send out weekly emails full of tips, tricks, tutorials, and much more. Last tip about cutting rulers and quilting rulers is please do not interchange them. I have seen many videos online where somebody has taken a straight edge and run a ruler foot next to it. You are seeing how I'm having a hard time keeping the foot on that edge. The reason why that is, and you can see this quite clearly, is the thickness of these rulers. This ruler is about 1/8 of an inch in height. This ruler is 1/4 of an inch in height. As a result, if you're using a ruler foot with a quilting ruler, this will not slip underneath. Using my ruler foot with a cutting ruler, you can easily do this. And the biggest problem with that is you are going to likely shatter your needle when it hits the ruler. You could crack the ruler, but the bigger problem is you very well might put your machine out of timing. And that's an expense that nobody needs. So that is the difference between quilting rulers and cutting rulers. The same but different. Both acrylic, both meant for very different purposes, both made of different thickness of acrylic. Thanks for watching.